Hey everyone, so third video. This is probably going to be put up either today, Sunday or tomorrow, but I know it's like a lot, I've only just done one, I'm doing another one, but hey, I enjoy doing these things, so let's just put all the videos up. Okay, so today I'm going to do a review. I recently got something in the post and I thought it would be a good idea to start reviewing my favorite TV show of all time, and if you know me at all, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. And that is Doctor Who. Oh, what a surprise. Are you shocked? I'm shocked. What? No, but yeah, so I got this in the post recently, Series 9, the complete Series 9 of Doctor Who, and I thought, well, let's do this. I bought this, let's put it to good use, let's watch the whole series and review each episode. So let's get into it. Now, for anyone who is unfamiliar with Doctor Who, it's basically it's a very old show. It's been going for over 50 years in one form or another, not always on TV, since 1963, and it's a British show just about an alien who travels in time and space, usually with a companion. He's usually just from Earth. Almost always from Britain. What a surprise. So yeah, that's basically the premise of it, and this is from the new series, and if you're new to Doctor Who, I wouldn't start with this series. It's Series 9, so it's quite far into the show, and the good thing about Doctor Who is you can really jump in at any time because each episode is usually a standalone thing or it's part of a two-part, and you don't need too much information, but of course they have broken that rule over the series as people, different writers have taken charge and all that. So, like Series 6, for instance, I wouldn't, if you start that with pretty much no knowledge of Doctor Who beforehand, you're going to be very confused. There's a lot of characters in that series that you have to have, they're recurring characters, like they've been in previous series, and if you haven't seen them before, you're not going to understand the significance of them. They're going to be completely new to you, and you're not going to understand why everyone is acting so familiar around them. So yeah, so it's similarly, I wouldn't start with Series 9 because it's not one of the strongest series. I will be honest with you. It has some good episodes, of course. Every series has at least one really, really strong episode that's like awesome. But it has just a lot of sort of weaker episodes that I think they don't really communicate the whole idea of Doctor Who very well, because Doctor Who at its core, I believe, it should be fun, and it should just be a fun romp through some sort of planet or time period or something like that. And quite a few of these episodes, they don't feel that way. And also another huge, big characteristic of Doctor Who is that each week, with each new episode, you'll have a new monster of the week. So it might be a recurring monster that you've seen before, or it might be a brand new monster, but there's always some sort of threat each week. And the problem, I think, with this series in particular is that a lot of the episodes, the monster feels underdeveloped. So yeah, but there are some really strong episodes in this. That's why I'm going to review it, because of course every series has its weak episodes, its stronger episodes. I will say, if you are new to Doctor Who, please watch it. It's fantastic, especially the earlier series, like any show, I think. The earlier series is always the stronger series, but please please watch it. It is so much fun. Don't go into it expecting really strong, solid, scientific basis for it. It's science fiction, yes, very much so, but it's a false science. It's not strong science at all. They're very, very loose with how they base things in science. It'd be sort of sciencey, but at a huge stretch, probably not really. So don't go into it, expecting it to be really strong scientifically, and don't go into it nitpicking all of the plot holes. There's one thing Doctor Who's really good at, it's huge plot holes, okay? It's been going for 50 years. It's a show that deals with a guy who travels through time as well as space. There's not going to be continuity at all. You will have so many episodes that contradict each other. So go into it with an open mind, go into it expecting plot holes, and you'll be fine. And just enjoy it for what it is, which is just a fun romp through space and time, which it is. And if you want my recommendation for the series to start with, I wouldn't say series 1. To be honest, if you just want a really good example of where Doctor Who was stellar and it was fantastic and each episode was really strong, I would go for series 4. You don't need to have watched the previous seasons to understand it. There might be some references to previous companions in there, but it doesn't really matter. It doesn't take away from the experience. Series 4 is the best series ever. 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 It's so good. David Tennant plays the 10th Doctor, because this guy can regenerate into new bodies. So that's why we get different actors playing different Doctors, which is fantastic, because that's why the show has been going for so long, because it can regenerate its main character, which is awesome. It's so good. There's a lot of flexibility in this show, which is why I love it. You get all sorts of types of episodes. But series 4, you have David Tennant, who is stellar, and then you have Catherine Tate playing Donna Noble, his companion, and she's an older woman who is just hilarious. And you know, she's just bumbling through it all, and the Doctor knows everything and she knows nothing about whatever's going on. She has no clue, and she's just trying to figure everything out and keep up with the Doctor, who's of course really smart and clever and knows exactly what's going on. And it's just fantastic. They work so well together. Their chemistry is fantastic, and each episode is, I don't think there's any two-parters in series 4, which is also good. But each episode is its own contained adventure. And they're just really, really good adventures. You have some that are actually really scary. There's one in particular which is a psychological horror. It's sort of, or thriller rather, and it's really great. It's really great. It was one episode where Catherine Tate wasn't in it a lot for whatever reason. She couldn't be in that episode for very long, so they did an episode revolving around the Doctor, and you don't feel the absence of the companion at all. You don't feel the absence of Donna Noble at all. It's done so well. I think the last 3 episodes of the series, when they have the finale, that's more, you don't really appreciate that fully if you haven't seen previous series, even into the classic series, because what they did is they brought a lot of the old companions together with the Doctor, because it was the last full series of David Tennant. So they brought together a lot of his old companions and all that. So if you have no knowledge of his previous adventures with other people, you're not going to really appreciate it. You're going to be like, well, who the hell are these people? But you can still enjoy it with, you know, the Daleks in there, and everyone knows about the Daleks. I mean, you know, even people who don't care about Doctor Who at all, they know the Daleks, and I love that it's just permeated like that, this show. So, yeah, it's so good. Alright, so let's get into our review of the Christmas special that preceded Series 9, which is included with this, so I started with it. It's called Last Christmas, and I just watched it. So, it's a really good episode. Very Christmassy. They do a Christmas special each year, and it's great. Some of them hit the mark, others, but this one definitely, it just has all the right ingredients, and it's just fantastic. It's a really, really fun episode. So the basic plot is that the Doctor and his companion Clara, who was in Series 8 and the second half of Series 7, so she's been around for a while now, and she left in the show, not the actress, she still continues with it, but in the show her character decided not to travel with the Doctor anymore, because of course, especially in the new season from, you know, 2005 onwards, the adventures with the Doctor they're very emotional, and a lot happens, and sometimes they can be quite traumatic. Like, there's a crazy stuff happen. You know, people die, and the Doctor shows his dark side, and it gets crazy. But it's awesome. It's awesome. When you get invested in the show, it's awesome. So anyway, so she at the end of Series 8, Clara left, and so the Doctor's been travelling on his own, and the basic plot of the show is the Doctor and Clara have to fight these aliens, which basically they look like the face huggers from Alien, in which they clamp onto the face of someone and they'll slowly dissolve the brain. And while they're doing that, so the person doesn't fight, they induce a heavy sort of anesthetic on the victim, and the victim will go into a dream state and they'll think they're dreaming, but while they're dreaming, they're actually dying in real life. So of course it's sort of Inception-y in a way because they have dreams within dreams. But that's the basic premise, that they have to fight these aliens that induce dream states in their victims. And it's all about, oh, are we still in a dream? Are we not in a dream? I should warn you, of course, there's going to be spoilers in this review. I'm reviewing the whole episode, so I am going to mention things that will spoil the episode if you haven't seen it before. But I recommend it. So before you go any further, watch the episode and then love it and then come back and watch my review. Okay, so yes, I love this episode. I think it's fantastic. I think that it does a really good job of addressing a lot of the sort of loose ends at the end of series 8, especially emotional loose ends, I think. You know, things like Clara's relationship with the Doctor and why she left, and her relationship with her boyfriend in series 8, who actually dies at the end of series 8. Yeah, so, you know, traumatic stuff. It's really sad how it happens too. It's really sad. Anyway, so dealing with all of that is really well done. It has Santa in it. Nick Frost is Santa, which is awesome because, you know, there's been a lot of movies, of course, you know, like the Cornetto trilogy with Simon Pegg and Nick Frost, and they've done a lot of movies in the past together. Simon Pegg was in Doctor Who way back in series 1, so it's fantastic to get his sort of partner in a way in, you know, the beginning of series 9. So that was awesome, and he's really good as Santa. He plays Santa Claus with his 2 elves. And yeah, so they do it really well with the dreams within dreams. I think it starts out really strongly. It feels very Christmassy, especially if you're in the UK. It's a bit harder when you're down here in Australia watching the episode because it's all, oh, snow and, you know, jingle bells and more snow and it's cold and Christmassy, and then you're watching it in Australia and it's like balmy weather outside and it's still daylight because we don't get dark till, you know, 9 p.m. and it's like, yeah, whoa, Christmas spirit. But you know, it's fun to watch it anyway. It starts out really strongly with jumping right in with Santa, which is really great because because the thing with Doctor Who is that anything is possible. Anything is possible in Doctor Who. And so Santa showing up, instantly believable, especially if you've watched the show before and you've gotten into it and, you know, you're really invested in it. You're going to believe straight away that Santa, yeah, sure, Santa can be real. I mean, you know, there was an Agatha Christie episode which was literally a mini Agatha Christie murder mystery with Agatha Christie. And there was Charles Dickens and ghosts at Christmas. Like, you know, it's not like they haven't touched on this before with sort of fictional characters, being in Doctor Who. It's happened so many times before. So it's very believable that Santa Claus and his elves could be in Doctor Who. You're like, oh yeah, sure, you know, why not? You know, it's Doctor Who. So yeah, and then we jump right into it, and suddenly they're at a base at the North Pole, and there's all these scientists, and that's where we meet the aliens that have taken over some of their crew. There's 4 of them still alive, but 4 of them have been taken over and have these giant aliens clamped onto their face. It's very obvious from the beginning that they're still dreaming, that they've gone under. They're sort of, it's a bit weird because they talk about, oh, you know, maybe we are already dreaming, maybe they did get us, and you know, Santa isn't real, you know, so question everything. And the doctor says to Clara, question everything, Clara, you know, these aliens, they feed on your dreams and your subconscious thoughts and things, you know, so don't trust anything. And yet at the same time, everyone is still surprised when they find that, oh, they're already asleep and they're dying, you know. So that was a bit weird for me that they, the first time that in the snow base they go under, they're surprised that that happened, when it's actually very obvious, and they talk about it and they're still surprised, you know. So that was a bit weird, but what I like about it is that's not too bad, because then you find out, oh, in the end they're all separate anyway. What I really like is that none of them are actually scientists in the end, is that they're all actually separate people in separate places and even time periods, and they don't even, it was just a dream to them. I really like that. I think that's a bit of it, because usually when you think of these sort of dreams within dreams things, the people are all together, they still know each other. But in this one, they all wake up and, oh, it's just a dream, and they forget about it very quickly and they move on with their life. When they've actually cultivated these friendships with real people in the dream. So it's really interesting, and, like, you know, Doctor Who's really good when it's thought-provoking. And this is thought-provoking for sure. So yeah. I especially like Clara and Danny Pink's sort of encounter when Clara gets taken by a facehugger and she goes to sleep, and she wakes up in a dream state where her boyfriend Danny Pink is still alive, and it's Christmas Day and he's dressed as Santa, and, oh, let's open your presents and everything. And at first she's a bit confused, like, oh wait, what, aren't you dead? But then she's like, oh, maybe he isn't, and she sort of embraces the dream because it's such a nice dream to have. I mean, if your boyfriend's actually alive the whole time and it's Christmas Day and he's got all the presents you ever wanted, and it's really lovely. There's a quite confronting moment when there's blackboards all over the walls and they're all saying, wake up, you're dying, sort of thing, because the doctor's trying to talk to Clara and wake her up because she's actually slowly dying while she's dreaming. It's all just an anesthetic. And she sort of just ignores it all. And I like that. There's a motif of blackboards across the whole, sort of the whole time, the whole series really. Blackboards everywhere, like the Doctor writing on a blackboard with chalk. It's just this motif that's repeated throughout the whole thing. I don't know why, but he uses blackboards a lot as a 12th Doctor, who knows. Anyway, I really like that. But I didn't really... In Series 8, the previous season, I didn't really care for Danny Pink a lot, to be honest. Of course, you know, the Doctor's companions have had boyfriends in the past, and they've even married their boyfriend, then travelled with the Doctor as a married couple, which I really like. But Danny Pink as the boyfriend of Clara, I don't know, I just didn't really ever feel, I felt it was rushed. He didn't come in till halfway through Series 8. So it felt sort of just rushed in there, like, oh, let's give her someone other than the Doctor to be interested in, because so often you'll have a young woman travelling with the Doctor who, you know, falls for the Doctor. I mean, who wouldn't? He's incredible. They just brought in Danny Pink so that she's not just interested in the Doctor, so that she can be interested in a man other than the Doctor. And yeah, he felt rushed, he felt underdeveloped as a character. He was interesting, but it was like we'd seen him before in Rory and even in Mickey, Rose's boyfriend, who she sadly neglects for the Doctor. I was very sad and very mean. I like her, but not that. Anyway, so yeah, but I did like this interaction in this episode with Danny, because he just died in the previous episode of Series 8, and yeah, I didn't really care about him, and his death was sort of but then she has this really nice dream with him and he's still alive, and I like Danny in this episode. I think he acts really, really maturely, and he's sort of, what I like is that the Doctor steps aside and Danny's the one who talks to Clara and lets her wake up from the dream, because she doesn't want to leave because Danny's alive, but he's the one who steps forward, not the Doctor, and he's the one who convinces her to wake up, to leave the dream. I really like that. So that was really nice. Apart from that, Santa is awesome in this. He has so many great lines. I really like how they address all of the questions about Santa and if he actually could exist. Like, how does he get to everyone in one night? Oh, he has 2 sleighs. How does he fit everything in his sleigh? It's bigger on the inside. Ha ha ha. I really like all that, and it does serve to also make it a bit more legit that he actually may be a real character, you know? And of course the episode ends with that. A little bit of a hint that maybe he is really alive. Who knows? I like that with Doctor Who when they leave it open to the viewer's own interpretation. So that's really fantastic, and of course the Doctor being all no touchy-feely, sort of as usual, which is, I think, you know, harks back to the very, very, very first Doctor in 1963, William Hartnell, who was also a grumpy old man, and he just bossed everyone around, and Peter Capaldi's Doctor is very similar, and, you know, it's nice, it's refreshing, because we've just come from 2 Doctors who were very young and very vibrant and crazy and happy-go-lucky and manic, and then we have Peter Capaldi who's older and gruff and annoyed. And it was a nice change. He was maybe a bit too gruff when he first started, but they've changed that and they've fixed that, so he's a lot nicer now. But yeah, and of course the scene where Clara is old. They think that the Doctor and Clara think they wake up from the dream, and the Doctor rushes over to Clara and she's old, and he goes, oh gee, you know, I got here too late. You know, she like 62 years have passed. But then of course that's a dream too, but that's nice. It's nice, actually. Yeah, so, but it's a really lovely episode. It's got everything you need. It's fun. It's got a really strong, scary alien enemy, monster of the week sort of thing. Santa's a really strong character. He's not neglected at all. He has some really great lines that are really funny and witty. The Doctor is the Doctor as usual. He's telling everyone what's happening, what's going on. He's the expert, and yet there's moments where he doesn't know what to do, and that's really refreshing as well. He doesn't always know what to do. You've just got to trust him and just try your best. And one really good thing I really liked is that he encourages the other characters, the other scientists, or they think they're scientists anyway, to think for themselves and to think things through themselves. I really, really like that, because it's too easy for the Doctor to just go, oh yeah, this is happening, I've seen that alien before, or I've heard about them, this is what they do, this is how to defeat them, done. Instead, he talks to the scientists and he goes, well, what do you think's happening? And then what does that mean? And so that leads to, therefore, and that gets them thinking. I really like that. And the dreams act like dreams, you know, they skip around and they introduce impossible things, which is really, really clever. And yeah, the whole thing is a dream. So they took it really far, but it made it really fun that you never know when they're dreaming and when they're not. So I really liked it. But yes, so I think that's about everything. It's a really strong episode. There's one like small little plot oddity in it, you know, like I said, when they're discussing the situation as if they already know they're in a dream, but then when they eventually do find out that definitely they are in a dream, they're surprised still. That was very odd. But apart from that, it's really strong. The characters are really strong. None of them feel neglected. And it's a really good wrap-up. And then it feels right when at the end Clara takes the Doctor's hand and they run off together again for more adventures. It feels right. It doesn't feel like, oh, but like, why would she do that? It feels, no, actually, yeah. Because the whole thing was a dream, and dreams, I think, have a way of really getting to us subconsciously and insidiously. I hope you liked my review. It may be a little bit all over the place, but it was off the cuff. I may do a scripted one next time or have little notes, but this is the first one. Hope you enjoy it. Watch Doctor Who and have a good day.